Well, if we can get the music lowered down, we can start this show again. I swear it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy to take on all this technology is what it is. Once you discover Freemasonry, you can no longer consider it a secret society. No, leaders of finance, industry, politics, and religion have all knelt at the altar of Freemasonry. No, they are not a secret society, but a society with secrets. You can find all the documents, pamphlets, everything you want to learn all you want to know about Freemasonry, questions and answers frequently asked, even talk to Ernest Borgnine. They've all been members of the lodge. Yes, in almost every nation, in every country, we find the leaders of corporations, the leaders of politics, all kneeling at the altar of Freemasonry. But we don't know why. What is the purpose of these rituals? Why do they go behind these locked doors? And what is the secret inside of the Freemasonic Lodge? Well, tonight we have a very special guest. Tonight we are going to get deep inside of the Freemasonic Lodge, one who is an insider, member of... discussing the secret war of Freemasonry. In this first exclusive Frater X, member of 9 esoteric orders. It includes ancient orders of the Druids, the cryptic Royal Archmason, Knights Templar, and Mason, along with Rosicrucian. This man has so much knowledge that the Worshipful Master here in Kansas says that we have to speak with him, that he will blow our minds with the details and understanding of the secret war inside of Freemasonry. Welcome to the show, Frater X.
Oh, thank you, Freeman. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's fantastic that you are wanting to come forward and discuss some of the inner secrets and mysteries inside of Freemasonry. There is so much confusion out there as to what this brotherhood is up to that I feel we need to get right to the source to find some answers. Now, we know that George Washington and most of our presidents have been members of this secret society. We find this in the very roots of our nation and how we form our very lifestyles. So why don't you open the door to this lodge room by first just telling us what led you to Freemasonry and why did you go to the altar?
Okay, great. Well, first of all, bear with me because I'm just getting over a cold, so my voice is kind of scratchy, but I'll try to keep it clear for you. I just want to also take a moment and just say a warm greeting to all the listeners out there, especially all the faithful fans of your show and yourself from your chat lines. I've been frequenting the chat lines for the last couple of weeks, and there's a lot of great people out there that are listening, a lot of truth seekers.
The Friends of Freeman are fantastic people. Best people I've met in the world. Okay, go on.
They're great. They're great. I also wanted to say greetings to all the brother Knights and Masons who might be listening out there. May you brothers out there find your own light. And also a shout out to all the etheric warriors out there, especially in the Pacific Islands, and especially to my family. I want to thank them for affording me this time to share with you tonight. And thank you, Freeman, for inviting me into your circle.
You're very welcome.
Okay, well, I think the best place to open this story is in my adolescence. The story opens, for the sake of this discussion, in 1984. I was born in 1970. I'm 40 years old. And in 1984, when I was 14 years old, I was very well read already, and I was already experiencing what I thought was an impossibility of reconciling what I considered my independent thinking with the reality all around me in our postmodern American society. I was steeped in mythology and Jack London. I was reading War and Peace, and I was trying to write short stories about drug-addled, disillusioned Vietnam vets. My high school English teacher at the time recommended that I read a book called On the Road by Jack Kerouac. That book had such a huge impact on me as a young man, although I didn't really understand it, I think, until years and years later. it struck something, a chord deep inside of me. His way of viewing the deep sense of an American spirituality, or what I guess you could call some sort of mystic celebration of pop culture, was just something signature to me. And I really, it caused me, I think, to seek answers. And I went out into the world with eyes wide open, looking for that truth that I believed was redemptive. And this led me through many experiences back and forth across the nation. I had my time with the Rainbow families and the Road Kids and the different gatherings across the nation through the 80s and 90s. And basically, after many travels that we will go into as we go on, I ended up, well, at 19 years old, I met a church of believers, and I became interested in Christianity. I hadn't really been exposed to people who were practicing it in a very committed manner, trying to live the Word. And I felt a tug inside of me, something that, well, a yearning for the spiritual. And so I gave myself to that system of belief and practice. But after a couple years, I became disillusioned for many reasons that we don't need to go into. Everybody's had their experiences, I think, with organized religion, so they can relate. But I inevitably found that same independent thinking that I could not reconcile with everyday status quo was interfering with my ability to, quote-unquote, submit to the will of the body or the elders or the teachings that were being implied. And as time went by, I ended up moving on. Now, in the 90s, there was, as you know, there was a big New Age movement, and it really, I think, woke up a lot of people. It led me to goddess studies, I think especially because I was responding to sort of a reaction going from the patriarchal Christianity, taking a look at other things. I got involved in looking at Eastern philosophy, Zen Buddhism. That was also because of being exposed to the beat writers, especially Jack Kerouac and Ginsberg. And after a while, I also started taking a look at Celtic shamanism, having that in my nationality, Irish, Scottish descent. So as time went by, all these influences affected what I would consider a paradigm shift in my inner spirituality. And I think it was right along coinciding with our generation. You know, as a people, I think the people from our generation can really relate to that paradigm shift that seemed to occur in the 90s. I'm sure you too could probably relate to that.
Sure.
So anyways, I ended up making my way back to the East in the hopes of trying to find myself after all these experiences. And somewhere along the way, I met my wife. And when I met my wife and began to start a family, I woke up, I think, to the biological, imperatives that such a thing can have, impact it can have on a person. And I was, I think, looking for some way to reconnect to meaning. And
this led you to become a member of 9 esoteric orders, including the Druids, the Rosicrucians, and the Masons?
Yes, because inevitably what I found as I looked at Freemasonry and other traditional lodge systems is that it did speak to the individual thinker, the individual, the person that was, even though that may sound confusing because it's a collective, it's an organization in which people come together as a body of members. But what was clear to me when I looked at Freemasonry was that it actually was assisting the individual in total self-actualization and finding their destiny, whatever that may be. And I believe that had a big part in causing other organizations like the church to view Freemasonry and other lodge systems as a threat to mainstream systems of control or guidance, however you want to look at it.
Well, they called Freemasons lunatics, according to the guy at the New York Grand Lodge, and they had to do their rituals at night so that people, as he said, wouldn't kill them.
Well, is that a quote from long ago, or is that something recent?
Oh, that was me showing Dan Fogler around the New York Lodge and where the UFO flew over on 10/13.
And your guide told you that?
I think our guide was having a bit of fun with us, yes.
Well, New York has got a rich tradition of anti-Masonic movements, and that's because, obviously, September 11th, 1826 was the day that Captain William Morgan was arrested, and then a few days later disappeared. So
yes,
I'm not surprised that excuse me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just reflecting on that, that William Morgan was another 9/11 event. But
That's
go on.
correct, yeah. It's remarkable, isn't it? You know, the Morgan affair plays such an important role in the image of Freemasonry. And let's just take a moment and look at that. The disappearance of William Morgan effectively created a wave of anti-Masonic fervor across the United States of America.
There was even a political party, right? The Anti-Masons. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. As a matter of fact, the first third party in America was the Anti-Mason Party. And it was led by a man who was a former Mason. So, yeah, that's the first official third party in America.
That's right.
Was the Anti-Mason Party. So that is remarkable. And there's a lot of other peripheral, lateral, remarkable things about the story of William Morgan. For example, William Morgan's widow went on to marry Joseph Smith. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Oh, the Mormons, huh?
Yes, and as you know, the legend has it that, well, first of all, we know that Joseph Smith was a Mason, and that there was a huge influx of Mormons into Masonry in Nauvoo back in the 1800s. From what I understand, and one of the books that I've looked at that I think is really a good book to read about this, the Morgan affair, is Henry Coyle's Freemasonry Through 6 Centuries. It's a 2-volume set from the 60s. He did a lot of his homework there. It's a really good read. He's very thorough. But basically, it seems that Joseph Smith, when he came into contact with Masonry, he liked what he saw. And from what I understand, Temple Mormonism is basically the ritual of the 3 degrees of Freemasonry converted into Mormonism. So
yeah, we're going to talk a lot about these rituals because just to state it clearly, I have never sworn a blood oath to the Brotherhood, so I can actually out some of the secrets that Frater X cannot. And, you know, honestly, Frater, I'm going to push you as far as I can.
Well, you got to take the opportunities where they come, right?
Absolutely. So carry on.
So, anyways, in my travels, especially in the late 90s, you know, as I think we reached a